So I'm going to focus on one of our programs called the Kansas Community Investment Fund. But first, I know this is the Network Kansas, Networked for Change conference, but maybe some of you, Network Kansas is still kind of new. So just real quick, high overview. Network Kansas is a statewide nonprofit that is, an entrepreneurial support organization. So that's really our goal, is supporting small businesses across Kansas. We do that through kind of three primary functions. One is our Impact Center. So it's literally a call center, or you can email my team, or entrepreneurs looking to start or grow their business can say, hey, I'm looking to do this. I'm not sure where to go next. What's my next step? I'm looking for funds. I'm looking for a business plan. And they will help connect them to one of those 500 plus partners that we have across the state to help do that. So that's one function of Network Kansas. Where I mostly live in Network Kansas is with our statewide funding program. So these are different matching loan funds for, small businesses. And they just kind of vary depending upon where the business is located, ownership, things like that. KCIF will be one of those programs that we have. And then the other part is our entrepreneurship communities, or e-community program. And you kind of heard Eric during the keynote, the first conversation between Eric and Steve, talk about our e-communities just a little bit. And really what those are is it's truly that local empowerment. We, a community, usually it's countywide, sometimes it's a city, like City of Wichita. They develop a leadership team that's focused on entrepreneurial support and entrepreneurship-led economic development. And then they also build a financial review board. So we use some of our loan dollars to say, hey, here's access to so many loan dollars. Here's kind of how you build your loan program, but you're going to be the ones making the decisions on who is actually funded in your community, because we believe you, as the people in the community, know those businesses better than we would, right, as one person in Northeast Kansas. So that's sort of the three main functions of Network Kansas and what we do. And so the Kansas Community Investment Fund, this is one of our latest funds. It came about in 2019. We had been working with the Kansas Health Foundation, along with other partners, including IFF, K-State, and the Food Trust on our Kansas Healthy Food Initiative. And so through that program, we got to have more conversations with the Health Foundation, and they discussed some interest in impact investing. And we were like, hey, we've been thinking about impact investing. It's sort of this word that's just been floating around, and what does it mean? And the more we dug into it, we realized, hey, this is kind of what we do. Our programs are designed to help, underserved communities, right? We're reaching rural, urban distressed, women, minority-owned businesses. It's mission-driven lending, right, is really a part of what impact investing can be, or that's one way you can talk about it. So we started working with the Health Foundation through conversations. They made the decision to have a little bit of mission creep and saying, this is different of providing a grant to start a loan fund. And we had a little bit of mission creep saying, we're going to make this fund more sort of specific on who is funded, right? So it's more health focused. Okay. And there's a couple other different things that we'll get into too. So out of that was born the Kansas Community Investment Fund. We provided a matching grant to get it started, $3 million over 3 years. So about $1 million a year. So what we built was another matching loan fund. It'll match up to 150% of other funds in the deal. So that means we can be about 60% of the project, up to $100,000. We have a floor rate of 3.5%, as much as 10 years out. Now, what's special about this fund that was different than what we had been doing before was we chose some impact areas, right? So we just aligned them with the Health Foundation. This is for businesses that are related to education and attainment. So we might think like daycares, healthy behaviors. So we funded some fitness centers, civic engagement. We've had different kind of things come through there, from a co-working space to we could put a broadband project under there as well. And then there is another one, related access to care. So thinking like medical facilities, and whether that's mental health or like your dentist, doctor type projects. So that's where the focus was. The other thing that we changed about it is previously we had only been funding for-profit businesses. And we said, well, there's organizations, nonprofit organizations, doing this work too. I had seen a lot of daycares come through that were billed as nonprofits, and so when they would come to my other loan funds, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't, even though you look sort of like a regular business, right? Typical. So we opened it up to nonprofits, and we also allowed grant funding as match. Previously, it needed to be like a bank loan or another, maybe like a public loan source that would need to be matched through the other programs. We said, hey, if we're opening up to nonprofits, that means one of their other funding sources is probably going to be grant dollars. So we need to be opening that up as a source of match for this as well. So that's how we changed it and started rethinking other ways that we can provide impact and funding into the community. So in that 3 years, we did get that $3 million out. We funded about just over 40 businesses. And it's just been really cool, the things that come through. The sort of new doors to just either different types of projects. And the other part, and you're going to hear from Aubrey here in a little bit, is also the new partnerships we've been able to develop through it as well, like meeting new types of folks we hadn't maybe engaged with before. So one of the other parts of KCIF is there's the loan fund, right? But we were like, if we think of impact investing as a model, that's really what we want to do with this loan fund, is we want to showcase to others how it can be done. And we want to engage others to think about how they could do their own impact investing as well. And so we had some lovely community foundations that were going through, I guess like a learning series about impact investing and how they could be engaging their communities in new ways in addition to their typical grant funding. So we were starting those conversations, Hutchinson Community Foundation, Topeka Community Foundation, showing them what we were doing through KCIF as they're starting to build out maybe their policies that they might want to have around building their own impact investment fund. So that, again, it's that local, their own local fund. There's more control there. It's bringing more assets into their communities in a different way than they had done previously. So I think I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to let Aubrey share more about that side of what it means for the community foundations in this space as well.
So we're going to hear from our other resource, and then we'll do a question and answer where you'll be able to ask some specific questions. And your facilitator, who's going off script, then we'll do some engaging, which we should have already done, but you guys are a great crowd, and I know you don't mind. So welcome to Aubrey Abbott-Patterson. She's the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Hutchinson Community Foundation, and she's going to expand on a little bit of the resources that can tie into what Imogene was talking about. So take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Aubrey Abbott-Patterson with Hutchinson Community Foundation, and we serve Reno County in the center of the state, about 60,000 people in our county. We've been working for 33 years now to serve that county well, capture the transfer of wealth, return it, invest it well, and return it to our community in the form of grants to make the community a better and better place to live all the time, the people who are currently living there and future generations. Our assets continue to increase at a good rate because the market's been good to us, because our people are generous, and because we've invested well, but also the needs of our community continue to increase. We've also seen recently economic disruptions that really challenge us to think differently about the way we're doing economic development in our community, the way we're inspiring philanthropy, the way we're deploying our philanthropic dollars. And we've been thinking differently, challenging ourselves to what are we going to do differently? How are we going to unlock more capital for this Kansas community that needs it? And knowing that all Kansas communities need more capital, right? So we're just trying to think differently and demonstrate a new model in our community that could be used and replicated across the state. We're thinking about ways that we can place our bets on our own local people, our local places and local ideas, rooting wealth in place, and increasing local ownership and local decision making so that the power stays in our community. We want to increase diversity and diversity of our economy and a more inclusive economy so that more and more people thrive in our county. Reno County is 60,000 people. So with that, we started thinking, what's economic development mean? What's our part in it? What relationships do we need to further develop in order to become real partners in economic development? And we've spent the last few years really diving into that and focusing on the relationships. And then thinking about impact investing, which Imogene was speaking to, as a tool that we can put to use, and realizing it is just one tool in our tool belt, but it's new for us because as a community foundation, we've been known as grant makers. And now we want to add this role as investor to our community profile. We've invested at this point $100 million, but we've been invested in the stock market and in bond pools, things that we're going to continue doing. But what if we were to bring even a small portion of those assets back to Reno County and investing it in the things I said, local people, local places, local ideas? And with those things in mind, thinking about our role in economic development and how we could use impact investing as a tool, we set a goal to bring back 5% of our assets into what we call the Reno County Impact Investment Pool, and to invest it locally in loans at this point, maybe loan guarantees, perhaps equity at some point, looking for both a social and financial return. We always still need the financial return on our investments in order to support all of the funds, but we want those social returns also. As we invest in this way, we're seeking to fill gaps, not compete with local banks and credit unions, traditional financiers. We want to see them as partners. We want to work with our local entrepreneur support organizations, Startup Hutch, with our Chamber of Commerce, with NetWorked Kansas, which has been a great partner to us. And we want to take the risk that our local banks and credit unions can't take, fill the gaps that they need us to fill to make things happen that wouldn't happen otherwise. I want to read to you what our new Reno County Impact Investment Pool is, because I'm really bad at the details. I'm better at the why and bad at the details. So here's how we would describe it. The RCIP, which is a terrible acronym, Reno County Impact Investment Pool, is a matching loan fund for for-profit or nonprofit and government entities looking to fund projects that will have a positive impact on the economy of Hutchinson and Reno County, Kansas. The fund is designed to provide gap financing for projects aligned with our mission and priorities such as small business startup, expansion or succession, affordable housing, childcare, or building, rehabilitation, and reuse. This loan fund is particularly suited for projects that strengthen and improve livelihoods for those living on the economic margins, grow multiple forms of capital, and practice incremental change and development. In all cases, the project must demonstrate sustainability through revenue inflows. That's our way of saying this is not a grant, it's an investment. The RCIP matches up to 50% of other public or private financing with a maximum loan amount of $500,000. In general, RCIP loan terms will equal that of matching funds, and RCIP has a floor rate of 3% and a maximum loan term of 10 years. So those are our pool parameter, our loan pool parameters at this time. We are learning how to be investors and how to work with local partners, and I think these things will change over time, and we've listed our priority areas, but we made an investment with NetWorked Kansas and KCIF into rural broadband in the midst of the pandemic when, the need was just exacerbated and highlighted, and we didn't want to miss the opportunity to make that investment. That wasn't in this description, but obviously it's a perfect fit and exactly what we should be investing our assets in. So we will go beyond these parameters when it's a good fit. We can't guess everything and put it all in the description. It's really important for me, I think, to note that we're a community foundation and we're not commercial lenders. So we have learned a lot about lending, but we don't know how to service a loan and we don't want to learn. So we've had to really lean on partners. First, it was a bank. We've also learned to work with credit unions. We've used NetWorked Kansas as a partner. They are awesome. They helped us figure out how to create applications, how to assess risk, how to work with our committees to do that. What's the due diligence process look like? So that all of that's been new for us. We don't want to build up our staff with a bunch of people who look like a commercial lending department. That's not what a community foundation is. We want to unlock capital and put it to use in our community in a way that'll really make a difference, using the structures that are already in place. But always remembering when we want our money to be used differently than it's already available in our community. So we want to make access to capital more open to more people. And that's hard because now we have a $3.3 million pool and people don't knock down your doors for money. You know, and they told us that from the beginning. You're not going to have people coming and knocking on your door asking for these loans. It takes a while. So now we have to be patient, because I think what starts to happen are you start to get asked for more traditional types of lending and you feel compelled to, well, let's push the money out the door. And that's been a big lesson for me. And I think one of our biggest challenges is to just be patient, continue to build the relationships, and we will get to the kinds of lending that we want to do in our community.